Good morning, everyone. Hello. Today's talk is called Attitude That Starseeds Have Towards Humans. Now, my talk's a bit late today. Just been, not recovering. No, just trying to be healthy. You know how it goes. Anyway, so why am I choosing this topic? Because I've probably given these types of topics before, and I don't want to sort of come across as if I'm giving a lecture about having the right attitude. Although it might sound that way, so I'll try and be gentle as possible and not in people's faces. I'll try and be nice about everything. Now, the reason I'm wearing this colour grey will also be prevalent as well. And as you may well know, my name is Edward James Tagg and I'm a Starseed coach. So it's fortuitous or recommended that I mostly work with starseeds because I work at a very senior spiritual level. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't also interact with humans, and I very, very much do. And I will be talking specifically about my human interaction because that's hugely important. Hugely important. So I'm just going to be talking about the attitudes that we have. Although you may be a starseed or a highly evolved soul and you'll be working with them, giving Reiki or healing or counseling or life coaching or whatever that might be, when you interact with humans, it's very important to understand what our mission is as a starseed, why we're here, what we're doing, what our attitudes are, what our virtues and character is when we're interacting with all peoples of all generations across the world and whatever differences. Okay, so because someone told me this morning that there's a new term and it's called star blossom, which sounds very cute and funny. So I googled star blossom, and there was a Korean K-pop singing group called Star Blossom, but there's not much to Google on the topic. But anyway, my friend did tell me that we're no longer calling ourselves starseeds because we've blossomed and we've flourished, and now we're sort of coming into ourselves and we're blossoming like flowers. Now, I just kind of had a quiet little giggle to myself, and I don't care what people call themselves. I don't get caught up, and I don't. Well, although I use the word starseed, the point is that we are either Sirians or Palladians. Those are the souls and the planetary systems that have agreed in a contract with planet Earth to help, essentially as volunteers, which you probably already know that. Now, so I'm not. Now, it's nice if people want to think of themselves on a path of healing and growing and think of themselves as flourishing and blossoming. That's wonderful. That's really, really wonderful. But I also think it's highly important that we accept the mission parameters that governs our character and our attitude interacting with all peoples in our daily life. So, having said that, that affects the attitude I have when I'm meeting all peoples. Now, I don't know if you've heard me tell these stories before, but I do have a number of social events and situations where I interact with humans. And I've already talked about the 5 stages of soul development. They're generally baby souls, young souls, mature souls, old souls, and so forth, adult souls, and what have you. And I'm not going to go into that here because I've gone into it before. But basically, sometimes for a starseed, it can be very, very challenging if you're born into the family of, or if you're working with colleagues of, or even having relationships with, particularly baby souls and young souls. Because baby souls are all about rules and laws and consequences. They can be the hardest group because they live in lots of fear. And in this social interaction, just even a few days ago, I had a baby soul get angry at me. They told me not to use a piece of machinery because it would cause damage to it in a particular way, and I just disagreed with him. And so sometimes you do have to take a stand, and sometimes it can be challenging. And then you've also got the young souls, and the young souls' achievement is very important to them. So they want their PhD, they want to be famous, and they want to pursue whatever their dream is in life. And I don't think we should look down on people because they're scared and because rules and consequences are very important to them. I don't think we should look down on people for people to have a dream and to strive for something important. I think it's very, very important to understand that those souls that are on that path, they're all moving in the same direction. They're all moving in the same way. They've all got their different individual take on it, but God has a plan for everybody, and that plan is their souls are evolving. So let's say a very fearful baby soul was having an argument with someone, and it was all about consequences, and they were taking this person to court, and they were very wounded. And as a highly evolved soul, when you're looking at that, you say, well, I wouldn't want to cross paths with that person, or I don't really want to interact with them. If they're my neighbour, I don't really want to have anything to do with that. All that negative energy, I don't want it to bring me down. But as a highly evolved soul, it's our job to raise our vibration and our frequency to a certain level where we're not looking upon it with judgment. We're looking upon it with compassion. And you're saying, well, yes, Edward, well, you don't know my mother. And yes, Edward, you don't know my neighbour. And yes, Edward, you don't know my boss. And yes, maybe I don't. And that's true. I understand and appreciate that it can be very, very, very challenging. But we just do the best we can do within our situation. And so, as a highly evolved soul or a starseed, it's onerous upon you to do all you can to raise your vibration and heal yourself. And there's just been a full moon about 2 days ago, so I'll go through various healing processes, and where it behooves us to look after our emotional health and our spiritual well-being, protect ourselves, burn frankincense and smudge, with, white sage, and do whatever you need to do to keep your vibration as high as possible. So then those attitudes that may have caused you suffering in the past, they don't continue to hound you and cause you further suffering. So that's really our job. So I'm talking to all those people that are struggling with that, because it's really, really important. And I counsel people about this all the time. A lot of people need me because they say that they've got this family member or this situation or this court case pending or this problem with their job and their new boss or their ex-wife and whatever. And I'm counseling those people all the time. So the attitude, just to delineate the attitudes that we have towards all souls, humans or whatever, is the attitude generally comes from love and compassion. Because if you've had a wide range of experiences where you've experienced similar challenges, and that's the Earth School, that's the volunteer scenario. That's what we buy into. We choose amnesia. So when we're up there tripping the light fantastic on our UFO or dimension or wherever it is, and then we come here as a baby, we actively choose, as a volunteer, we choose amnesia, and we choose to forget everything. So we do that for a reason, because we want to understand. So that's the prime number one scenario that created this attitudinal expression when we're with others. We grow up with them. We have them as parents. We have them as brothers and sisters. We have them as lovers. We have them as ex-husbands and ex-wives. I mean, we have them as bosses. And so the more experience you get with that, the better. Now, some people say to me, okay, Edward, I don't understand. Why do I not know many other starseeds? Why have I not met my soulmate? Why have I not met my twin soul? I wish I could meet another starseed and get married. And I say, well, yeah, well, that would be wonderful. A lot of starseeds and a lot of highly evolved souls want that. But there's the problem, because before you were born, you didn't actually necessarily choose that as your mission statement. You might have chosen to marry or be born into a human family, or a human husband, or a human wife or partner or boss. And so this is where the attitude comes in. It's very, very important to understand that it's not a mistake. A lot of people, I say hello to Sirian and everybody else who's joining, lovely to meet you all. But a lot of people, as starseeds and highly evolved souls, they view parts of their lives as a mistake, as something's gone wrong, something's not gelling, something's like Edward, and they ask me for counselling. They say, why is this not working? Why am I working with this difficult person? Why am I having this problem with my ex? Why am I, and just fill in the dots, for yourself, right? Now, there are no mistakes. Nothing is wrong. You chose all of that in amnesia because you loved them so very, very much. Now, here's the problem to do with attitudes, right? Is that when you're on ship, or when you're in planet Sirius, or you're a Palladian or whatever, when you viewed Earth, you saw a bit like that movie, The Never-Ending Story, where there's the nothing, this blackness is sort of creeping over the Earth like a big blanket of ignorance and lack of joy and fear. That you viewed that. And you thought, wow, they really, really, really need help. So, please, dear God, what can I do? I'm going to be a superhero. I'm going to fly in there and swoop in. I'm going to save the day. Well, yeah, great. That's fine. That's what you chose. But you didn't choose to come to Earth and say, hey, I'm a Sirian starseed. I'm a superhero. I'm going to take all your problems away. I'm going to fix everything. No, you didn't decide that. Quite the opposite. You wanted to get down and dirty, in the mud, and in all the trauma, all the trials and tribulations, and you wanted to experience all that and become relatable. Okay, you wanted to relate. So with that desire to relate, that's where the attitudes come from, right? Your beliefs and your ideas and your attitudes, right? So here's the thing. You can still have attitudes, you can still have beliefs, you can still have mental schemas about your colleagues, your family, your husband or your ex or whatever. You can still have those attitudes. But then you've got, as you grow and as you blossom, whether or not you want to think yourself as a star blossom or whatever, as you blossom and you find yourself and you spend more time in prayer, more time communing or talking to other starseeds, you don't jump from one camp to the other. You don't say, well, I don't want these shitty people in my life. I'm just going to jump over here and only be with starseeds, and I'm only going to meditate, and I'm going to start my retreat center. I'm going to get away because I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. They're just difficult. They're just horrible. They're just yuck. And they just, So you don't really do that. You kind of have one foot in both camps, right? So that's the secret of spiritual enlightenment or being a highly evolved soul, is that you have one foot in both camps. Like, I have days when I'm down the beach or here or listening to music and I'm just blissing out, talking to Mother Mary or channeling Mother Mary publicly, which I've started to do, or I talk to my starseed friends in Arizona and further down south and wherever. And, I'm really in my starseed zone. But then I go and meet, guys at a car club and work with tools and stuff, and their vibration is very, very, very low. Lots of baby souls and young souls. And it can be very challenging. But I try not to judge them. I try and have compassion. I try to relate to them. I use my experiences that I grew up with and all that hardship, and I can see them suffering. There's one guy there, no specifics because of privacy, but he has a really beautiful soul, and he can be really hard on himself, and he finds it hard to receive compliments. And I sometimes actually pat him on the back and I say something nice to him, and I can see inside he kind of melts, and he loves it. I mean, he loves receiving compliments, but he doesn't receive them very easily. He feels very humble and ingratiates himself and, bows and scrapes and finds it hard to receive a compliment. Now, what you must understand as a highly evolved soul and as a starseed, it's critically important to appreciate that you have a lot of power. I mean, a tremendous amount of power, more power than you'll actually give yourself credit, because if you smile at someone or just pay someone a compliment or just say something nice, or even just say, your hair looks nice today, to a baby soul or a young soul, that's everything. Because let's just hypothetically think about a young soul. They might, get a Louis Vuitton handbag, and they might have a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes. They might be in New York. They might be, all primped up with the hair, just come back from the hairdresser, and they're going into an important business deal, and they feel full of importance. I think, wow, that person's really got it together. Well, no. Back the truck up. Inside, they feel scared, they feel lonely, they feel competing against their colleagues is terrifying. They have very, very low self-esteem. And if you say something, a heartfelt, genuine, if you just say, oh, that's a lovely pair of shoes, then it's just going to be meeting in with that mental schema that they're used to. But if you say, well, I like your shoes, but you're really radiant today. I really admire you. You've got really good core integrity, that you're a beautiful person to know. And if you say something like that, I can honestly say that some people can feel suicidal, or some people can end their lives, or can get through their whole lives, and some people have never, ever, ever, ever in their life had a heartwarming, heartfelt compliment where they truly felt loved from someone. And I've had these experiences with people before. It's very, very rare, and they'll admit that to you. And you're extremely powerful, more powerful than you know. And you think, well, okay, Edward, just pay someone a compliment or smile to someone. That's nothing. Like, why can't I just give them Reiki? Why can't I give them some life coaching? Why can't I just transform their life? Why can't I heal all their problems and, give them, a course of 6, episodes of hypnosis, like really do some work with these people, But no, it's really, really subtle. It's just incredibly fine and subtle. So your attitude and how you treat people, particularly with humans and those baby souls and those young souls, is very, 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 very powerful. It's incredibly powerful, because what you may not appreciate, and I meet new starseeds all the time when I'm adding new starseeds to my group, Passy, Palladians and Sirians International. I just see their eyes radiate. And people send me photos. They say, Edward, I don't know about my mother, or I don't know about my best friend. I think maybe they're a starseed, or this one might be a reptilian, or is this one a human? And I've got a young man now, and he's I think he's kind of dating or whatever, and he's sending me pictures of girls and saying, which one is the good one, But the point I'm trying to make is that I see it very, very clearly. I see people's eyes, radiate and shine, and I for whatever reason, it's something that I find easy. I find discernment through seeing the eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul. And the reason I say that is that you have more power than you actually understand. And this affects the attitude of how you behave around regular humans. So if you think you're having no impact, or you're not powerful, think again, because actually you're extremely powerful. If you're a highly evolved soul, or a Palladian or a Sirian, I can guarantee that the waves of potentiality, the potential energy of how you impact people, is more powerful than you give yourself credit for. So if you go forth with the correct understanding as to who you are and your role and the people you meet on a daily basis, then you'll be more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And you might, feel like a star blossom, and you're shining and radiating and flourishing, because that's what we're here to do. And we have huge amounts of power. It's beautiful. I feel humbled all the time. And that's why I go to this car club, because there are 2 guys there. One guy, he's got this big beaming smile. And I said, shall I start nicknaming you Smiley? Because you smile all the time. And I didn't know whether or not he just smiles around everybody all the time. And then he actually kind of said to me, well, no, Edward, and he kind of intimated that I make him happy. And he just beams this beautiful smile. And he finds me kind of quirky and interesting, because I've got the Superman curl up here. See, I've got the Superman. So he nicknames me Superman. and he kind of looks at me askance with a sideways glance, and he doesn't know how to read me sometimes. I'm this radiating light that comes into this car club with all these blokes, and most of them are sort of belligerent, and some of them are just nice, but he doesn't know how to read me. He's kind of confused, and he even talks to his wife about me. And I call him Smiley, and so I have this powerful effect on him. So the attitude you go in is that sometimes when you meet them, first off, they'll be betwixt and transfixed by your energy, and they don't know how to read you. They're just really confused, and they'll just sort of be scared of you and saying, who's this guy or who's this woman? Why are they coming into my social group? And they'll just like put big barriers and walls up. And if you just have a kind, loving attitude and gentle, don't go in like all guns blazing and saying, "Hello, I'm a starseed," and like an extrovert. You just go in really, really softly, and then credit them with needing a little bit of time to get to know you, and they'll start warming to you, and then you'll actually start to realize how powerful you are. Now, I'm a bit like a bull at a gate. Sometimes I go in all guns blazing. And I've had to learn to be softly catch a monkey, So that's the best attitude, is to know that you're a starseed. Still, blossom. Call yourself a star blossom if you want to. I don't blooming care. But, just live as a starseed in your private life. Raise your vibration. Meditate, prayer. Protect yourself. Do what you need to do. And then with humans, just radiate and shine. Don't make excuses, or sort of bow and scrape and apologize for being beautiful and radiant, because Jesus says, don't hide your light under a bushel. And he also said that the tree that has got the most fruit, either a lemon tree or an olive tree, gets stones thrown at them the most. And that's actually true. And this is a problem for starseeds, because if you radiate too much, people either get jealous or awkward or don't know how to read you or are scared, and they start attacking you. And in this same place that I've mentioned, I've actually had an attack recently, because there's a man there that just doesn't handle me at all. He's just very scared, and he barks at me. I think he's got like an entity attachment. He just sort of like, just barks at me. So you've got to be careful. But at the same time, just credit people with requiring a little bit of time to get to read and understand your energy. You can still shine, but it's finding that happy balance between shining too much and behaving, with humility and loving people where they're at. Their journey's really painful. Their journey's hard. You've had some experience through your amnesia, choosing to lower your vibration. So you have relatability. You know that their path is difficult. Being a baby soul is all about consequences, and they're scared of, being judged or feeling less than or feeling not good enough. And then their dysfunctional ego uses very bad coping mechanisms, and not dealing with their projection, and not dealing with their attitudes to people, and they're scared all the time, and that they're struggling, and so you kind of give them a bit of leeway, when you see that, and that the young souls, the young souls that are trying to keep up with the Joneses and compete and be important, full of that they're less than and feeling scared and frightened inside. So you learn compassion, and you don't sort of like jump on them and say, But the true sign of a true highly evolved soul and a true starseed, star blossom, whatever you want to call them, a true sign is relatability, compassion, understanding. Shine your light, but don't go in all guns blazing and overwhelm people. Have enough humility and find the right balance, and you'll do a blooming good job. So, on this planet, we're all humanoids, we're all souls, we're all connected in oneness with God, and that's the key thing. When Jesus walked on the earth, I don't know whether or not he was looking for other starseeds, or whether or not he just worked with the local rabble and the difficult people and the fishermen and the tax collectors and the people of his day. I don't know if they were starseeds or if they were just regular humans. I mean, I think one of them was a murderer and tax collector. They were just the local rabble, you know. So you work with what you got, and you relate to them, and do the best you can. And it's not an easy job, but I think I've said enough. I think enough said. Yes, that's enough. So I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't know how long I've been talking. I'm now channeling Mother Mary publicly, and because I still give these talks on Sunday, I talk about starseeds. On Monday, this is New Zealand time. On Monday, I talk about inner child, processes, and on Wednesday, I talk about spiritual enlightenment processes. And now I'm adding 3 days a week, of channeling Mother Mary publicly, and so I'll be doing all of that. So there will be a total of 6 times where I'm on camera. I'm enjoying it. Channeling Mother Mary is at the basic stages, because it's just getting used to tuning in and then relaying, and I'm learning how to monitor or manage that. But it's a lot of fun. So just to recap, and also these go on YouTube. So there's those bells, notifications. So I'm on This is YouTube, and I think I've said enough. I always have this feeling when I know I've spoken too much. But if you're struggling with family, if you're struggling with your social groups, now I don't mean to say that you have to sacrifice everything and not be with starseed and be with challenging, difficult people in your work, or with an ex-husband or whatever. That's not what I mean. I don't mean to say that. It's about finding the right balance of getting enough of your starseed needs met socially with other starseeds, and prayer and downtime, and to recharge your batteries. And then when you're with humans, just do it lovingly with the right attitude and get equal amount of energies balanced. Some starseeds just totally want to go away on a retreat and only be with the other highly evolved souls, and other starseeds don't even recognize their starseed identity, and they're living in very challenging working class or rough or druggy or challenging or violent or aggressive humans, and they're really struggling and they're isolated and they're alone. So neither one scenario is superior or right or correct. I think a balance is important, and you can. And also so what I was inferring or suggesting earlier is that even marriage or having a partner, you don't necessarily have to always be married to another starseed, another highly evolved soul. Sometimes we do choose to have partners that are humans at different levels of evolution. I think if you've got a starseed, obviously marrying a baby soul who's very angry and got lots of issues, are going to be too challenging. But there are different stages of evolution, so you've got to find where you're happy, and just respect people where they're at, essentially. And what I've discovered is there are some relatively mature or highly evolved human souls that still have beautiful amounts of spirituality and musical appreciation, intelligence. So there's a spectrum, basically. It's not a black and white either or scenario with different in-groups and out-groups, us and them. So I think it's important as starseeds or highly evolved souls not to set up a scenario in your mind of it's either us or them. It's either my way or the highway. I think it's a spectrum, and there's lots of different peoples in the world. Planet Earth is fascinating because we have the whole gamut. We have the lowest vibration. We have pure evil. We have reptilians. We have baby souls that are challenging. We have young souls, a large group of them that are all striving and pursuing their dream or trying to be important. And then we have the more mature souls that are self-sacrificing and helping various groups and working in charities. And then we've got the highly evolved souls, and we've got starseeds and galactic souls, star blossoms if you want to call it. So on planet Earth we've got the whole gamut. So I think it's important to know how to interact in a healthy way with everybody. So yes, I've said enough. I think that explains everything clearly. Love to you all. This is Edward James Tagg, Starseed Coach, signing off. Bless you all, and have beautiful experiences with everybody that you encounter. And your vibration is powerful, and you have more influence than you actually probably give yourself credit for. So have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.